howdy, everybody. Sorry for the scuffy start, and I'm so sorry, Paige, for you raiding into my garbage. Literally, I've been having so many issues with my, what's it called, my, like, because I have an old-ass refurbished iPhone X as my, like, AR camera thingy for my VTubing stuff. Thank you for that, Pat. And, yeah, no, it likes to restart itself sometimes. Although it never really does it. It only does it when I'm recording, usually. But it just randomly was like, yeah, fuck you for end your stream. And thank you so much for the follow, Lolotov Cocktail. Thank you, Aaron the Lich King, for your first time chat. How are you all? I wish the Gronkler could stream. I'm not the Gronkler. Thank you, Michael Chan, for the tier 1 sub. Gobtober, yes. I love Gobtober so much. I've gotten a couple of arts for Gobtober so far, and it's been really exciting. I love them all. Thank you, Rick Seeger, for the follow as well. So are you all? Other than my Scuffest stream, I literally slept for 2 hours the past, like, 3 days. I really need to fix my fucking sleep schedule. I'm so busy working. Thank you so much for the follow, Laundry Girl. We're on the C map. Hell yeah, Paige. Thank you so much for the raid again, and trusting me with your community, and I hope you have fun making that map. Be sure to talk to Lori if you think her art is really good. She's amazing at backgrounds, trust me. Of course there's goblins here. It's me. It's a Phoebe stream. Where else would there be? Yeah, it's gobble time! I hope you guys are all excited to talk about some of the new class archetypes for War of Immortals. I love them all. Not gonna lie. Pricing isn't an issue at all. Something I can act on my own. You don't have to act on your own. I love paying my friends rent, so if you want to, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub, Eris Falconer. So if you ever need help paying for that, I will definitely help pitch in for background arts, because I love Lori, I love her art, and I love helping her, my friends pay their rent. I'll under Cecilia by 10% illegal. There's both Gobtober and Goktober. I've heard, yeah, and if you're me, it's both. You're listening, so have a great stream if I don't get to speak in. That's fair. I have my own fair share of sneaky work viewings. But yeah, no, I love all of the, what's it called? All of the new class archetypes that can be found inside of War of Immortals. I didn't think I was actually going to be a fan of a Warrior of Legends as much as I am. Because I thought it was literally just like, oh, it's Achilles, who gives a shit? But like, it actually has a lot of cool feats to it, not all of which are exclusive to the archetype, by the way. But they're good too. I know, right? So they have sketch 24 goblins, yeah, that's fair. There's a lot of goblins out there. I'm in a Discord of like a couple hundred of them. Like, War of Legends, I was like, yeah, it sure is a guy, isn't it, huh? And I look at the actual class stuff and I'm like, oh, that's kind of a cool guy. Taking extra damage to fucking, what's it called? Taking like extra damage just to proc, like to get yourself doomed to proc cool abilities. One of the feats, by the way, is literally the Dragoon from Final Fantasy, if you're into that, so stick around if you want to see that one. Not enough goblins out there. No, there's too many already. There's already too much competition. I've got to start eating more goblins to get rid of them and get their courage. And then Avenger Rogue can be really fucking strong. I leave it sad when I drew you. I did it from behind because I love your earrings and a little band-aid is a lovely deal too. Yeah, it's really fun, but it's okay. The behind piece was pretty nice. Yeah, Powerwolf. Also, I'm sorry if there's any, like, dropped frames every once in a while. My internet's being a little wonky because I have satellite internet and the weather's getting all fucky. This is gonna happen a lot, especially when it snows. During the winter, it's gonna be kind of, streaming's gonna be a little rough. Try from the front next time. Yeah, that's fair. Ow! Rude. That was almost max damage, though. Good job. I came across a pretty nice PF1E mod. That's a bunch of fun, fancy stuff. Oh, yeah, I've seen people talk about that before. I never watched it myself, though. Like, I've heard people just be like, yeah, it's Final Fantasy Pathfinder, but, like, doubly extra, and I'm here for that. You know, Avenger Rogue is... It's weird to me because it's like Slayer. from Pathfinder First Edition, if you're familiar with that one. Even the iconic is the same character as a Deem. But like mechanically, it works kind of like the Slayer, but also like if Slayer was more into Jesus. Oh, thank you for the headband. Dropped Gilgamesh from that into my Kingmaker game for a silly event where I came across a big bridge. Ooh, that's cool. I have several Avenger ideas already. The Avenger, it's really cool, but it really is like, wow, this is a Slayer with a little type of a little religious twist. He says, howdy, Ian. Hey, Soken, what's good? Hey, how's ya? There you go. I'm gonna make sure I say hi at least today. Thank you for stopping by and thank you for the lark. And then Vindicator. I didn't think I was gonna like Vindicator at all, but it's really growing on me the more I read it. Because it is a more spellcasting focused ranger, if that makes sense. Because like ranger, I'm like, yeah, ranger's cool, I guess. It's okay, it's pretty neat. It has a lot of like single target damage. It has a lot of nature stuff I don't care about. And then they're like, what if we turn it on its head and made it more urban if you want to? Because all of the nature stuff you want that. And then just have it be like, yeah, you could track down dudes down easy. You could fucking ruin their life. And one of their fucking feats is called like interrogate, where you just fucking bully a man into giving information. Their hunter, little hunty thing they can do when they hunt prey, makes it so their hunt prey target has a minus their saving throws to against your spell stuffs, like your spell DC. And also you have a +1 your spell attacks against them, which upgrades to a 2 on both sides once you reach that level 17 mastery big bitch ranger stuff. Especially with interrogate is how it sort of only helps holy vindicators. Well, maybe you should not be a bad evil person, you know? You ever think about being good as a person? I bet you didn't. Hi, Eldritch Nirvana. Thank you for stopping by. The Seneschal is neat. I look at the Seneschal and I'm like, wow, that's a really cool concept. But it just makes me think of fucking a lesbian witch polycule immediately. Ow! Yeah, that's what you fucking get. Oh, that's it. Oh, I'm so scared of your 8 damage. Don't at me. Everybody, everybody, make fun of Soken for being mean and trying to throw fireballs at me and failing. Ow! It's okay damage, I guess. But what's it called? Blah blah blah. Seneschal Witch, it's neat. You're your own patron and stuff like that. Your patron disappeared and or died. It's okay. Like mechanically, it's fine. Thematically, I feel like it's not as cool as I think. Ow! Now that's better. That's a bit better damage there. Almost max. But you get your cool, like you could be someone else's patron when you hit level 20, which is like, wow, that's really awesome. How many times am I gonna find a level 1 rando? Ow! Like rando ass level 1 dudes that want to be my follower, huh? You learn watch stuff? Hell yeah, hell yeah. I'm just giving a little general overview of what the little archetypes are before I could delve deep into them. Because, like, the Seneschal is a rare one. You have to get GM permission to even try it. And, like, the most narrative impactful stuff of it is, like, the level 20 capstone fee. Yeah, feels super set up your next campaign. Okay, that's cool and all, but fuck, dude, if I already played a witch up until level 20, which is probably gonna take around 3 years-ish, I don't want to play a second witch who worships my first witch. Like, it's like, wow, I sure could do this. I could just play the exact same class again for 3 years. No. And those characters were early aware of it. Yeah, it just feels kind of, I don't care. I want to play someone new. I want to play an Exemplar. Dude, I have an Exemplar character plan that I fucking adore her concept of. Once I get art of her, I will definitely show off to stream because I love her. But we haven't fully finished our session zeros for that, so I can't really go into detail with her because I might need to change some stuff to fit other backstory things. So I'm an exemplar Mal. Do you like MMOs? Do you like very versatile skill rotations? Do you like very dynamic, like mechanical gameplay wise? That's the Exemplar. It's the most active martial class in my opinion. Every single turn you can transcend one of your thingies to do a cool ability, then move it to another thingy to give a passive from that thingy, which lets you next turn transcend that one to swap it to another one. It's going back and forth between like all 3 of your icons, or 4 if you have the extra icon feat at level 8. It is just MMO rotations, the class. Being like, okay, cool. This thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to do this rotation. I'm going to go over there. This other enemy do this rotation. I do some healing. I'll do this healing thingy, then swap it to my weapon thingy so I get more extra damage on this for my next strike this turn during that. Then I'll do the big bonky, rotate it to another thingy. It's very active. Like, I don't even care about the demigod thematics behind it. It is just very... It clicks in my brain as something that's fun to do. Like, mechanically speaking. I guess the like the religious thematicism of the entire class being like, oh, cool, I'm a demigod, kind of. That's neat. That's cool. It's very cool. It very fits in with the class itself, the epithets, the flavor, all that fun stuff. But at the same time, ow! Big cool abilities. You can just rotate off and on the whole time. Also, Soka, you gotta really, girl, you gotta stop. You're just embarrassing yourself at this point. Yeah, no, I love the Exemplar. Animist, I didn't think I was gonna like the Animist at all. I'm gonna call it Caster. What does that matter? Cast better. You have cast in your name. But I'm gonna move on to the actual book now, so I can go deep in. What, did I skip one? I skipped Bloodrager. Bloodrager. I don't really know what to say about Bloodrager, though, to be honest. You cut a man, you drink the goo, you hurt them extra. Like, you can literally suck spells out of people. You ever suck someone so hard you just take their spell force out of them and then cast it on them? I'm an expert spell sucker. Hit him with that. That hot claw. Hey, Matt. Hey, Terror the Red Mage. Bloodrager feels like it suffers from classic archetype spellcasting scaling. Is this Bloodrager different from first edition? Very. It's very different. Don't look at me like that, Spaceman. Like, it is very thematically different. And I don't know what you mean by that, Soken, because fucking archetype spellcasting kind of slaps anyways. Because, like, I'm not casting offensive spells 90% of the time. I'm gonna self-buff. Oh no, I got Sure Strike and or Heroism. Here I go, critting and killing you. The fact that it's arcane or divine, or at least like lets you switch up like your own, like you can cleanse yourself of stuff, you can buff yourself, you can do all this other stuff to make yourself cooler and freeing up the other spell slots of your other casters like that, doing that too. Oh no, my DC is only expert. Cool. DC's nuts as I hit you with fucking Sure Strike, hitting twice for my attack, making you instantly crit explode and bleed all over the place while I suck out your goo in front of your friends. It's a very weird and very fun and very unique class archetype. I love it. Let's swap over to the little overlay thing so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, no, as you can see here, Zadim is our new Avenger iconic for the Avenger class archetype, which is a rogue class archetype. He was originally the Slayer iconic, worshipping a Shaylin, not Shaylin, a Saren Ray cult that was kind of fucky, but he's swapped over to the good side. They even talk about here in the flavor description that sometimes they're known as Slayers among more brutal doctrines. It's Zadim! He's doing the iconic dual wield thing he does. They even talk about Slayers here, but like, if correct me if I'm wrong, but 1E Slayer was not religious themed, right? Ow! Rude. Like, Slayer was just a better rogue and better ranger combined. Yeah, no, this feels like if Slayer had a little religious twinge to it, if like Jesus wanted to kill a man. This is what it feels like. And something I was really hoping for, but they confirmed finally with this book that the Avenger itself, it's a rogue class archetype, so it swaps out class archetypes. I should probably tell what a fucking class archetype is before I start with this whole thing. Class archetypes are archetypes that fundamentally change parts of your classes, and also it gives you a specific subclass most of the time. Like, originally we only ever had spell shot with this, but now we have 5 new ones, and I think we're getting 3 new ones, 3 or 4 maybe. I don't remember the exact number in Divine Mysteries, question mark. That's like, sorry, like PF1 archetypes. Yes! They swap around parts of your base class for other parts, you take different thingies. Like, the Avenger class archetype for the Rogue, it's changed. You'll see like a thing that says something adjustments, like whatever the name is, adjustments, like Avenger adjustments, Vindicator adjustments, etc. When you become an Avenger, you must pick a deity to be a follower. So you had to pick like Sarenrae or Shaylin or Desna or all 3. And then you are trained in Intimidation, Religion, Stealth, and whatever divine skill your deity gives you. Plus a number of skills equal to 3 plus your intelligence modifier. So you still get a shit ton of skills, you just are forced into like half of them. And instead of getting your surprise attack class feature, which is the class feature that lets you have enemies be flat-footed to your attack on the first round if you rolled higher than them on initiative using stealth and or stealth and something else. I think is it stealth and deception question mark, or is it just stealth? You replace that with the hunt prey action from the ranger, which doesn't do much on its own, but it enables a lot of really cool and powerful thingies of this class, namely your sneak attack, and we'll get to that in just a second. But it also allows you to, because you can take, they say up here, additional feats. You get the entire like dual weapon like feat chain that the ranger has, starting with twin takedown, like twin parry, twin riposte, second sting, improved twin riposte. You get all the dual wielding stuffs because it's cool, and you know Zadim can't do anything about dual wielding stuff, so you know. So you get all the dual wielding stuff from the ranger on top of hunt prey. But you don't get a normal ranger's, what's it called? Ranger's not racket. What is the ranger subclass thing called again? Why can't I remember? I am the worst at this. Oh god, why I'm literally blanking right now. Not Warden, that's the spells. Hunter's Edge, excuse me. Like the new Hunters, like they don't have any of the Hunter's Edge benefits, so no flurry, no precision. No huge nerd that I never remember the name of because nobody ever picks it. I've played this game for 5 years. Played with countless rangers. No one's picked the fucking Hunter's Edge that is involving you being a huge nerd. And they've only ever picked Flurry Precision, but it doesn't have those, so you have just base hunt prey, so you're better at tracking your dude you decide to hunt down and stuff like that. Outwit, yeah, that's the one. Huge nerd. They got shoved in the locker while Flurry and Precision were busy making out. But your hunt prey allows you to do something very, very mean, in my opinion. You see, when you get the Avenger's Racket as your subclass, you become trained in your deity's favorite weapon, no matter what it is. And when you become expert or greater proficiency in any of your weapons you normally do, you get that with your deity's favorite weapon, no matter what type it is. So even if it's a advanced weapon, you still become trained with it. And then you can deal sneak attack damage with your deity's favorite weapon once you hunt them, like you hunt prey them. Like, say, a barricade buster. Yes. And yes, there is medium armor. And you can choose strength as your key attribute instead. If you want to go with that instead of a dexterity base thingy. But you can sneak attack with any weapon that's your D's favorite weapon, as long as you hunt prey. So let's say you worship Cereal, and you have a greatsword. You can sneak attack with it. You had great, I don't, like you want like that, a glaive like Shaylin. Sneak attack with it. Barricade buster over there. You can already sneak attack with that, but you become trained with it now, so sneak attack with it. Like there's a lot of fucky stuff you can do with it now. As long as you hunt prey. It only works against hunt prey. There's one scary paladin. I love like just for this like little thing alone, just for this entire section of the racket alone. Medium armor can choose strength instead of dexterity. Train in your DD's favorite weapon. Sneak attack with the weapon no matter what. Not even paladin, it's a rogue. Like just like imagine someone sneaking up to you with a fucking great axe. Like, I worship Tree Razor, and just fucking shooing and cutting you in half with a giant fucking great axe. This opens up so much big fuck off damage. It's really funny. Ruffian, eat your fucking heart out. Like, Jesus. Ruffian ain't got shit. Ruffian's like, oh, you can sneak attack as long as it has a D6 of damage on your martial weapon. Who cares? Great sword sneak attack. Yeah. You know, cartoon ass tiptoe up with a fucking giant earth shaker. Hammers be like, swing. Like, it's just the most peak. Although I will say, a lot of the Avengers dedication stuff is very religious coded when it comes to the other parts of the dedication. Like the feats it gives you. You can make enemies doomed, which is, I guess. You know, doomed, yay. No, not ads. I feel like there was some way you could not get ads on my stream. By maybe, getting a Twitch Turbo and or subscribing to me on Twitch. You know, that'd be nice. I kid, I know not everyone can. Shit, my fucking my blanket got caught, sorry. My favorite part, I think, about the Avengers dedication is not the extra feats that you can get from it, but the dedication itself gives you some very interesting bonuses to it. Namely, no matter what it is, you get a +1 bonus to saving throws against any divine spells and effects that deal spirit damage. Extremely niche, but still very useful and very helpful. Because spirit damage hurts and it's scary, and just getting a +1 to anything is just strong in general. Thank you so much for the follow, Arbalist Devil. And like, why 4 ads? I don't know. Twitch just does it, dude. I don't control it. Like, I don't even control when Twitch decides to give ads. Does this book reveal whether is it or not Zadim killed the Abadar Paladin? I don't know. I don't pay attention to lore. Too many words. Head hurting. But I do love that the Avenger dedication, it gives you a bonus to saving throws against divine spells that deal spirit damage. And also, my favorite part of the dedication itself, you can use religion to coerce, gather information, or track, so long as you're in a town or city with the church dedicated to your deity. Why can't Goblin Brain not fit word? If so, damn football shape. Because Goblin just started learning how to read like 5 years ago in lore. They're doing her best, okay. Church buff, yeah. Like literally, if you have the like, if there's a church to the prismatic ray in that town, if you have a bunch of lesbians hanging in that town, you can coerce somebody using religion and being like, "You're gonna make Space Mom mad." They're gonna be like, "Oh man, I guess I'll tell you." And then for our next class, we have Zealous and Inevitability. It's a single action thing. If you're wielding your D4 weapon, you make your target doomed if you hit them with a strike. Oh, you're good. Like, they become doomed 1 or increase their doomed value by 1. And like, as with most things, they become doomed 4, they will die from it. However, they specifically say at the very end, if a creature become doomed 4 by the strike, you can make a will saving throw against your class DC to not become doomed 4 and die. And it has in cap. So you can't instantly doom down your giant enemy boss creature. That's really cool. This feels kind of eh. But it will work on other things. So if you have something that's regenerating, fuck you, doomed. Hopefully they don't make the saving throw. So if like you're fighting a troll or anything else that regenerates, like maybe Tree Razor, even though it's level 25, so it's gonna get on imp cap and not die. I know you want to doom the boss to death, but they specifically said no. Hey, Arcady, we're talking about the new War of Immortals class archetypes. We're talking about the Avenger Rogue right now, which is a religious-themed, like, super assassin murderer. But yeah, no, this feels largely... That's the thing, though. With in-cap, it feels too weak to really give a shit about. Without in-cap, it's way too strong. So I'm not sure why I care about it. Because, like, you need to hit something 4 times to kill it, which you're probably going to do regardless if it's not a boss enemy. And if it's a boss enemy, it has in cap, so it's going to fucking pass it no matter what. This is like if Slayer from 1st edition was a fan of Jesus. So Zealous ability is weird to me because it feels like it could be strong, maybe. But if I'm hitting something 4 whole times, because it adds the flourish trait, so you can't do it. You can't spam it on your turn. So you have to take 4 full rounds to doom a man to death. If you're the only person dooming, I guess you have other people in your party that are dooming it as well, then maybe. But I feel after 4 rounds, they're already going to be fucking dead. And if they're not, they're probably a boss, in which case they're going to pass because of incapacitation. Yeah, that also assumes you are hitting those 4 turns. This was for the doomers. It's really cool thematic, but I just don't feel like it would ever come up, ever. And then you have Silence the Profane, which is a reaction. This one's really strong. In specific circumstances. I feel like a lot of these feats are very campaign dependent, because a lot of these require like divine things to happen. Silence the Profane is a reaction if somebody within your reach or within the weapon's first range increment casts a divine spell, and you're wielding your D4 weapon, you can make a strike, and if it's successful, it triggers I can't talk. It disrupts the triggering spell. Not a crit success, by the way. An enormous success. It just happens to be. It just so happens to need to be a divine spell. But this is better reactive strike, specifically against divine spells only, because it disrupts the spell on a normal hit and also makes them flat-footed, but only against divine spells. Not divine spell effects, and that's just you cast a divine spell. Disruption success is very rare, yes. I think, what is it, the weapon implements 17th level thingy? Or like just a higher level version of the weapon implement on the, what's it called? Thaumaturge has a disrupt on success, but like it's very oddly specific, very campaign dependent, but damn if it's good. This is like Inquisitor light, even though Vindicator is more of the Inquisitor style. Like, it's very cool and thematic. But again, like with other things, it's very dependent on what you're doing. You have Shadow of Death. This one helps a little bit. But it feels more flavory as a 10th level feat. Strikes when you make with your D's favorite weapon against a creature with the Doom condition have the death trait. Causing them to instantly kill and reduce to 0 HP no matter what. Then again, if you hit them 4 times, they're going to be dead anyways because you made them doomed. But on top of that, when you kill them in this way, attempts to communicate with the creature, return to life, or turn into undead, or otherwise disturb your afterlife, fail unless they counteract. Rank is higher than half your level when you killed the creature. When you killed the creature, so it doesn't scale with you. So if you kill an important NPC at level 2 and they try to counteract that, if you're anything higher than that, it's not going to matter. It's anti-regen, but you already have the doomed up here, which is anti-regen. If you get all 4 of it, just kind of dies. Because it's doomed, I think. But, like, they can't be brought back to life. Yay. But it only is counteracted against half your level when you killed the creature. So if you killed level 2, you have to beat a level 1 counteract. It's cool, I like it. It just doesn't feel 10th level feat strong. Again, this feels more campaign dependent / thematically dependent. And at level 12, you have the 2-action ability, Yas Slay. This one, though, very helps up with the Zealous inevitability really well. Your enemy has to be doomed 2 or greater, and you make a strike with your what's it called? It doesn't specify you have to use your DD's favorite weapon, but if you're using this Doom stuff, it has to be your DD's favorite weapon because that's something that dooms things. If you hit with your strike, they take 46 extra precision damage with a basic fortitude save against your class DC. If they crit fail, they just fucking die. This is in cap, of course. But you can only do it once per day on that creature. So if you hit them twice, your next turn, or I guess if you want to go for a map slay, you can do that. So either on turn 2 or turn 3, you can deal 46 extra precision damage with a basic fortitude save. Crit fail, they die. Nothing on a failure, nothing on anything success. It has to be crit fail, they die. If nothing else happens, it doesn't matter. It's just really funny. Wait, no, it's a basic save. So does that mean the 46 extra damage can just be halved if they get a pass, or just does do anything on a crit success? Question mark. I'm never sure how that works exactly with effects like this. This is really underwhelming since they're gonna die anyways. That's my whole thing with this entire subclass is feats. Is that a lot of them feel really underwhelming because they're just gonna die anyways. Like, the dedication is cool. The racket is neat. Slay could be cool. Like, again, this feels like it'll be way more useful to, like, beat down a mid to low threat enemy. But you have to do it on, like, turn 2 or 3. If you hit them, you have to hit them twice at least to get them to doom to 2 or greater, do proc slay, and then do yours 2-action slay. Yeah, they're cool in theory. But mechanically, I have some conniptions with how they, because, like, the doomed, killing them with doomed has in cap. Killing them with slay has in cap. What is, like, there to do? it feels weird. Like, you can sneak attack with a greatsword still, so that's cool. But, like, if I'm really trying to kill a man with that 46 extra damage, I'm gonna probably want them. Probably gonna if they've survived the 2 attacks with rogue sneak attack on insane D weapons, that you're also attacking with your friends to get up to doomed 2, which is turn 2 or turn 3. Is the extra 46 damage really gonna hurt them? Because it's really cool thematically, but like some of these feats feel very campaign specific. And other ones feel kind of mechanically underwhelming when it comes to like actually dealing with like really cool like monsters that this would really be helpful on. Like, you're already doing sneak attack damage with this, obviously, but you get extra precision damage on top of it. You know, the fact that you get all the dual weapon stuff from the Ranger feels better than the feats that you get from the actual subclass itself. I am munching in between talking, yes. They also have these 2 other feats that are not just for the Avenger archetype. They have the Hydrate. These are 2 weird fucking feats. They're not only for Rogue, by the way, they're for Ranger and Fighter as well as Rogue. So this could apply to 3 different classes. The first one is a 1-action stance. Only if you're like holding a 2-handed hammer, spear, or polearm. It lets you use the butt end of your weapon, the haft of it, as a 1d4 bludgeoning weapon. It is polearm. And not only that, you can use dual weapon feats, like dual wielding feats, with a 2-handed weapon. So if you want to, what's it called? You want to use Twin Takedown with a 2-handed hammer, you can. The second hit is just going to be a D4 bludgeoning whapper. Wait, no, you can't. I forgot. They even say right here, like, you can use feats and abilities that normally require you to be wielding 2 melee weapons each hand, treating their half as a second weapon, but you can't use abilities that require you to be wielding a 2-handed weapon. So you can't use, like, any big 2-handed weapon, big smackers that the Ranger or the Fighter might have, but you can at least do Twin Takedown with it. It's really funny, because it's like you just turn your 2-handed weapon into dual wielding, but you cannot use it for 2-handed things instead. You can't, what's it called? Oh, thank you for stopping by, Sayonara. Good night. You can't double up. You can't double dip on your big weapon whapper. It's just really funny. So if you could Twin Takedown with a 2-handed like whappy thingy. So if you're what's it called, a Avenger of Shaylin with a glaive, you can do that. You cannot power attack. It's a stance though, so you can get out of the stance and do it. You can, but like, what's the fucking point of going to the stance just to drop it? Yes, you can double slice at 10 feet. You can't Twin Takedown at 10 feet if you have a ranged, like a reach weapon. You don't have whips and stuff, but I guess the extra, like, what's it called? Like, the extra average, like, 3 damage per damage dice adds up. This part makes me a little mad. Just because it's a once per minute ability and I hate things that are only once per fight. Especially on martial characters. Because, like, damn, bro. The whole point of me playing a martial is so I can just do cool things always. But let's say through action ability, once per minute, if you're in the half striker stance, you just beat the shit out of a man. You strike twice, one with your weapon and one with its haft. Each counts towards your map, but do not increase your map until after things. And then you do it again. So it's 3 actions to attack 4 times. It's worded kind of weird because you strike with the first 2 attacks. You make so the weapony end and the halved end. You do those at normal map, but like you don't increase the map yet. And then you do it again, both with like -10 map. It feels weirdly written. By half feet down, you're beating the Shadows, man. It's like it's 3 actions to attack 4 times. Only the first 2 attacks are with no map, and then the next 2 attacks are with full -10 map. It just feels so weird. Like what the fuck? I don't understand the point of this. Are you just like crit fishing for those last 2 hits? Yes, 4 attacks in 1 turn. It's literally just like, okay, cool. I hit them with a D10 weapon and a D4 weapon and 0 map. That's great. And then I do it again, a D10 weapon, a D4 weapon at full -10 map. That's the thing. I feel like Flurry Ranger and the fighter in general would be way better off with this, just due to their, what's it called? Like if you guys see Ranger's Flurry ability would make it way awesome because it's like at -6, I think. So -10, and then with the fighter, you have the +2 compared to everybody else. But for the rogue that this is made for, they say right here explicitly, they're primarily intended for Avengers, but are available to other rogues and members of certain other classes where appropriate. I feel like the rogue gets the least out of this feat. That's something to offset the big map. It turns awkward at the end, and then you can't use it again for a minute. Yes, that is true. Like, it has the minute cooldown on top of everything. All in all, half striker stance and half beatdown are very cool on Rangers and fighters. Rogue, it feels like they're okay on. The feats of the Avenger Rogue itself, Zealous, inevitability down to Slay, feel situational to okay at best. But the dedication is neat, and the racket itself, then you sneak attack with any type of weapon as long as your D-Star weapon is awesome. I will probably be taking all of this up here, these additional feats, before I take any of the other feats for it. I'm going to be taking the twin takedown, taking the twin parry, the twin repost, the second sting, the improved twin repost. It just feels strange. I complain about it a good couple of times usually, but I'm never the biggest fan of stuff that it could be campaign dependent. I'd rather something be painfully generic than be very specifically catered towards a specific campaign or type of area you're going to. At least I'd be able to use it. The situational stuff is neat. Until, like, yeah, this just came out. This book came out. My last fucking campaign that we just did was heavy religion theme for the past 3 years. We were fighting an evil church culty thingy that spanned the entire globe. We were doing a bunch of like evil things against divine creatures like that. This would be really cool if I played it 3 years ago. But our next campaign is not going to be deity themes. There's not going to be any religion theme stuff in general. So this Avengers class archetype means nothing to me. I'll get mostly nothing out of this entire class archetype. Because I'm not going to be playing a campaign that would use it. Because we just finished up a campaign that took 3 years using it. I don't know, that's just my weird rant out of the way. Overall, in general, I like it, I think. Yeah, that is unfortunate. That's kind of why I have a thing against very specific campaign-oriented type of things. Like, Silence and Profane is amazing. Fucking disrupting a spell on a normal success and also making them flat-footed for a round is awesome. So long as it's a divine exclusive, it's like a divine spell. Exclusively divine. So realistically, it's going to work 1/4 of the time. This entire book steal? Yeah, I know. Bloodrager works with anything. Seneschal works for anything. Vindicator, less so. But it's still really good in general, just with the whole Vindication, Hunter's Edge. Works really great. War of Legend works with anything. It's just this one that entirely only works really against divine things. And also, like, just the dooming stuff in general. Warrior of Legend feels like it's made around doom stuff cooler because it's you getting doomed yourself and using that to make yourself cooler versus you painfully, slowly bludgeoning down your enemy until they're doomed 4, in which case they roll a success against your save and then they're not doomed 4 and it feels like you've been wasting your time. Because, by the way, Zealous inevitability, I don't think I mentioned or not, has the Flourish trait, which means you can't use it on the same turn as Twin Takedown. So you can't... I would rather attack twice for a single action than attack once and make them doomed. Yeah, I don't think I said it had Flourish, by the way. It's completely incompatible with Twin Takedown. You can do one or the other. You can do big damage or hope you slowly whittle something to doomed 3 and then pray it gets a nat 1 on its saving throw against your class DC when it hits doomed 4 on the 4th turn you've used it. I don't know, it just feels weird. You can pick these. You can pick Zealous inevitability level 6. Or you can just take Twin Parry at level 6. It just feels weird. It's just kind of strange. Avenger is the one I was most excited for, and I think I've come out with a general lukewarm opinion of it. It's okay. It starts off really strong and really cool. Avenger's Racket itself, so you get attacking with your D's favorite weapon, getting medium armor, getting strength as your main stat if you want to. That's all awesome. Dedication, cool. It's very, again, thematically / campaign specific. The rest feels mid. Half striker stance and half beatdown feel better suited for an actual ranger or a fighter than it does the rogue it comes with. And it's funny because they can also just take them too. It's fighter, ranger, or rogue. So, those that have come out on top with the Avenger Rogue becoming a thing, I'd say are Flurry Rangers. They've benefited the most from the Avenger Rogue coming out. Fighter a little less so. And then Rogue is just kind of chilling there, I guess. They don't have the lower map of the Ranger. They don't have the higher proficiency of a fighter. But they sure have sneak attack if they hit with it, maybe. Because it is technically, potentially, 4 attacks with sneak attack if you hit all 4 attacks. However, the first 2 attacks are made with no map, so those have a higher chance of you dealing your sneak attack damage. Yay! The next 2 attacks are with full map, so -10. Which have a, like, almost negative chance of actually proccing the sneak attack. I don't know, it just feels so inconsistent and weird. Thank you, Sarandel, for that. I think we should move on to the Bloodrager, one of my favorites. Look at this motherfucker. Look at this fucked out weapon. Look at his fucking spooky hands. Look at his bloody face. Bloodrager. I love Bloodrager. Bloodrager is, of course, a barbarian class archetype. It functions very, very differently than the Bloodrager of Pathfinder 1st Edition, which inspired it. Bloodrager in Pathfinder 1st Edition was a hybrid class of sorcerer and barbarian. This one feels like a barbarian first and foremost, with a touch of sorcerer and a lot more blood. It puts the blood in Bloodrager. Yes, it does feel like the Dark Knight from Final Fantasy. Bloodrager. The adjustments don't feel like a bad thing at all, by the way. Like, there is 0 trade-off with the, what's it called? With the adjustments from the Bloodrager. You get negative trade-off. Literally, it just changes your skill training from starting out with athletics and 3+ your intelligence modifier to starting with athletics, medicine, and then 2+ your intelligence modifier. So it auto-trains you in medicine, but at the same time, you still get the other skills back anyways. But that is near 0 change whatsoever, honestly. But then you get your Blood Rage ability. Blood Rage is really fucking cool. Blood Rage. Also, I'm going to make an antagonist group in my Starfinder game called Cannibal Rest. They're Undead Isekai Power Crew. I love them. Blood Rage is cool. Its main ability is while you're raging, your physical attacks deal extra persistent bleed damage equal to half your additional rage damage. And when you cast a spell that requires a spell attack roll while raging, you can apply the additional damage from rage to that spell, even on a failure. So if you fail your spell attack roll, you'll still do some damage. Both those are really strong. Rage damage itself goes up from 2 to 4 when you get it goes from 2 to 4, and then it goes from 4 to 8 when you get greater weapon spec. So the base rage itself is more in line with Fury, but it does give you persistent bleeding damage. It would have half the damage dealt, which adds up together. If you roll them both together, would add up to average rage damage dice, like with the Animal Instinct. So if you had 8 rage damage, it would do 8 rage damage plus 4 persistent bleed damage, which adds up to 12 damage, technically. Now, the rage resistance is very strong, in my opinion. You resist slashing damage, one of the most common physical damage types. Blood damage, or bleeding damage, I should say, as well as damage dealt by the creature whose blood you last drank using Harvest Blood. So if you're fighting a single boss character, no matter the damage, by the way, no matter what damage type it is, if you suck the blood out of a boss creature, you are resistant to all of the damage it can deal to you. Blood damage, I meant bleed damage. I just spoke weird. So unless you're fighting an enemy who gives you like 10 bleeding damage, you're gonna not take any bleeding damage. But if you suckle an enemy from all their life juice, you're just gonna be taking like fucking nothing from them no matter what. Now, what does Harvest Blood do? It's a one-action ability if your last action was piercing or slashing damage, and they're not immune to bleeding. You slurp them. You drink it. You reduce your drain condition by 1, gain temp HP with your con modifier, and get a +1 bonus to saving throws against the creature's spells for 1 minute, or until you harvest blood from somebody else. They may be saying, Phoebe, what do you mean reduce your drain condition by 1? Well, when you cast a spell while raging, because Bloodrager lets you cast spells while raging, you get a spell repertoire with 2 cantrips, and you have feats that level with you, similar to every other spellcasting dedication archetype thingy, so like basic, expert, master, spellcaster, dedication stuff. But when you cast a spell while raging, you become drained 1 when you do it. Or increase it by 1, I guess, if you already drained 1. So if you keep spamming your spells, you're going to be drained. However, you can reduce the value of the condition only by slurping the enemies. So you can hit an enemy. Like you can cast a single action Sure Strike / True Strike on yourself. Smack an enemy for a lot of damage, if you crit or not. Who knows? Probably, hopefully, if you cast Sure Strike on yourself. And then the last action is slurp them up, and then not be drained anymore, and also get temp HP back, and also have resistance to their spells. On top of other things that we'll get to with their feats later. This fucking archetype is strong. I like it. Hi. This archetype is amazing. I love it. I love blood magic, first of all. And this literally puts the blood in blood magic. You are literally slurping up people's blood. Yeah, no, literally, you cut a man open and just go. They're like, ah. I would be more scared of that enemy than I ever have in my entire life. Like, yeah, sure, guy with big axe. That's scary. Guy with big axe who's slurping me? Nah, man, that's fucked up. But like, by the way, I forgot to mention it, but when it comes to when you get your Bloodrager dedication, you have to choose either Arcane or Divine as your spells. No Primal, which a lot of people I've talked to are confused and are mad about. No Making Cell. Can you imagine that man was a woman? All right, you got me there. Okay, if that was a lady D from fucking Resident Evil 8 walking at me, slash whipping and slurping my bits, I'd be like, shit, girl, that's all you had to say. Like, it literally is putting the blood in Bloodrager. It's very vampire-esque, but you're not an undead. You're not a vampire. You're just a freak, and I love it. But, like, and also, if you have the Arcane tradition, you become trained in Arcana. If you have the Divine tradition, you become trained in Religion. Blah, blah, blah. You know the normal stuff. However, I'm still surprised there's still Primal. Like, it's Arcane or Divine. Even though Primal, I feel like, would be very thematically fitting, especially because of the, what's it called? Like, the Bloodragers that come from The Moengi Expanse. I feel like they'd be very primal or like themed. You know what's being added? Well, this is Bloodrager, first off. Actually, imagine those gear heme. Nah, I'm good. Guys, I'm a vampire. Just drink blood. I need to keep drinking blood to stay strong. My thing with this, though, is when you cast a spell, you become drained. And you get rid of the drain condition when you slurp up the juice, but removing the drain condition doesn't heal you for the damage the drain does. So you're still losing health constantly whenever you cast a spell, no matter what. So you probably need a pocket healer in the back being like, pew, 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 healing you up to full, because you might get a little temp HP here and there, but like, you are constantly draining your health every time you cast a spell. It's a Bloodrager. I saw that, by the way. Hey. Bloodrager is a barbarian who cuts people open and slurps up their blood and casts spells using that blood. So you're going to need somebody to heal you up at least a bit. You are automatically trained in medicine, but if you're raging, you can't. I think treat wounds is the concentrate trait, so I don't think you can use it. I should look that up real quick. Does treat wounds have the concentrate trait? It doesn't. Does battle medicine? I should look that up actually. Battle medicine. It doesn't. I stand corrected. You can angrily medicine yourself. Thank you, Briar Binksy, for the raid. We're talking about the new Pathfinder 2nd Edition book, War of Immortals, and the class archetypes inside. But yeah, no, you can just battle medicine yourself, I guess. Like once per fight, question mark? At least once per day. And with the divine spell list that you could have access to, you might not have Sure Strike, but you can just cast one action heals on yourself the whole time, I guess. Anyways, base Bloodrager is fucking amazing. You cut a man, you suck their blood, you get bonuses for sucking the blood. Thank you, Friday8877, for the follow. You also get a fun time reaction at 4th level if you choose this dedication. I guess it's a feat you can take called Blood Calls Blood. Where this one's me. Ooh, fancy how I love doing random things while raging. Never forget Rage Mage. Like, Blood Calls Blood is a reaction, because if someone tries to disrupt your spell, like say if they hit you, and if they try to disrupt you, you can say fuck you, get the drain condition, and then use the spell anyways. You can just ignore it flat out. Just ignore them disrupting your spell, but you become drained 1. / increase their drain condition by 1. Which, of course, as we said beforehand, you can reduce drain condition by sucking up blood. You slurp them, dude. I don't care. I'm gonna keep going. And then, of course, with every other spellcasting dedication thingy, you have the feats like Rising Blood Magic gives you basic spellcasting benefits. And then you have the Surging Blood Magic, which gives you Expert. And then Exalted Blood Magic gives you... it should give you a Master in your stuffs. A spell? How about no? Exactly. Just say, disrupt me? No, fuck you. It goes from Berserk, Learn Magic. That fits, honestly. Where it really gets cool is Siphon Magic. Siphon Magic is really cool. Siphon Magic, 1 action ability. If your last action was to harvest the blood of a creature that can cast spells, you can regain 1 expended spell slot, although it can't be of your highest ranking spells. You then also become drained 1, which of course we said, just keep drinking and you won't be drained. You can technically infinitely regen your spell slots. This has no like usage limit. Yeah. It's full spell regen. But you just can't regen your highest level spell slot, but everything else after that, keep slurping. Keep grabbing. Just, let's go. It has to be against a spellcasting enemy, though. So unless you're facing a lot of spellcasters, it's not going to proc a whole lot. But when it does proc, ooh, your gym's going to fucking be really mad they put that fucking mage down. And then to go off of that even more, there is Spell Drinker. One action ability, once per hour. If your last action was to harvest blood, again, you temporarily add a 3rd rank spell to your spell repertoire as determined by the type of creature whose blood you just slurped out. Like, you could just get a spell. Like, if that bad. Even if it's not your tradition, normally, you just get it. Ow! Rude. That was almost max damage. Good job. Also, if you have the other magic thingies like Surging Blood Magic and Exaltant Blood Magic, you can add them at higher ranks, so 6th rank than 8th rank. And as you can probably see, there's a lot of good spells in here. Vampiric Feast, if it's an aberration, is one of them. I mean, so like, just name one. Dragon is Blazing Bolt, but instead of fire, it does the same damage as your Dragon's Breath weapon, if you drank the dragon. Faye's Wall of Thorns. Monitors are Impending Doom. Celestials is Holy Light. You just suck the spells out of enemies and then turn them into magic that you can cast. It is thematically awesome. The spells they give you are fire, except for maybe summon animal. If you suck an animal or a beast, you get summon animal. Yay. My favorite summon. But everything else is kind of fucking awesome. That automatically upcast, depending on what your feats you have. Like, bruh. This subclass is fucking sick. So many words, my brain is processing none of them. What are you having trouble processing? What can I help you with? Actually, GPF, so it's all confusing still. That's fair. Your voice isn't close to my ears. But yeah. I'll help you out another time then. I'll have more videos talking about Pathfinder in the near future. And then you have Hematocritical as a 10th level feat. It's a free action if your last action was a strike that critically hit a creature that is not immune to bleed damage. If your next action is to cast a spell, and it has a spell attack roll, you roll it twice and get a better result. Which is pretty strong. It's a free D&D style inspiration on any spell attack roll you make. However, alternatively, if your next action is to cast a spell that requires a saving throw, they roll it twice and take the lower result. Both of those are awesome. It's just it's so cool. It's fucking sick. I doubt I will ever use Hematocritical to do an attack roll. But making them do a save and being forced to take the low results will always be good and useful and very, very nice to have. Yeah, no, this is very new and very like complex stuffs, but they are a member of my Discord, and I talk about Pathfinder a lot, and maybe they learn something through osmosis here. Listen to me talk about stuff I love. And then, of course, Surging Blood Magic. Same thing. As, like, you get extra spellcasting benefits. However, also, if you are at least drained 2, You increase the extra damage dealt by that spell from rage by an additional 2 for a total of 3. And then Exalted Blood Magic. You can master and spell attack rolls and DCs. Increase the spell slots you get from Bloodrager archetype feats by 1 for each spell rank. You also get the master spellcasting benefits. It's not listed here, but you're supposed to get that earlier. As well, they put it in errata in the alternate Mythic Rules PDF they released for free. If you haven't checked that out already, it's on their Paizo store for free. And then you increase the spell slots even more. And then also, if you cast a spell from your repertoire and you're at least rank 2, you double the extra damage dealt by your spell from rage instead. So you deal even more. All in all, Bloodrager slaps the hardest. It deals with you draining yourself a lot, which is a mood, in exchange for you sucking things out of enemies to go and recharge your own drained, which is also a mood. As someone who's ever played Pathfinder, something deep inside understands all of this, well, maybe you should give it a shot. It's really fun. You know, this is a spellcasting barbarian that benefits itself from drinking the blood of enemies. Give yourself temp HP, make yourself harder to hit by said enemy, and also give you cool spells dependent on the enemies. This is amazingly flavorful, amazingly fun, mechanically strong, and all in all, my favorite subclass from this book. Geomancer, no! You know, my favorite archetype in this book. This one, Bloodrager. Next up, we have the Seneschal. Seneschal, or the final boss of Dragon's Dogma, if you've ever played that game, is a very interesting archetype. Those who aren't into Pathfinder and are just here because you love me, the Witch has the same thematic stuffs as the Warlock does in terms of having a patron that gives you your magic. Have you ever wondered what would happen if your patron kind of died or disappeared? Would you get a new patron, or maybe become the patron? And that is what this archetype chooses to answer. Your witch patron has gone suspiciously silent. Whether it's dead or not, who knows? But you still have access to your abilities, and your familiar is still funneling your patron's power to you. Somehow. And as you, tap into that power more and more, you learn how to fuck with the raw magic that your patron once held, until the point where you are the patron. And you have your own witches eventually. And by eventually I mean level 20. At which case, who cares? It's the end of a campaign, I don't care anymore. But this is really cool. Seneschal Witch dedication, starting at level 2. As a witch, you get a specific hex cantrip per patron type, but since your patron is gone, you get the Manifest Will hex cantrip. And your familiar learns any common first rank spell of your choice from your spell list instead of just the one that your patron decides to give you, because they're not around anymore. You have to expend your own will and fuck with the own magical force pool that your patron used to give you yourself. Yeah, Cthulhu fucking died. I'm not gonna let this go to waste. I'm gonna start pulling on the strings of the weave that is D&D. I don't know Pathfinder's magic system all that well when it comes to thematic and lore shit. My favorite part about the dedication is you get the Witch's Charge feat, which lets you usually pick a person and or your familiar or other summon a minion to go and cast a one of your hex cantrips or spells through them instead of yourself. But with this one, you cannot choose any creature with a minion trait, including your familiar, It has to be on somebody else, like a real whole ass person, because you're putting your weird patrony will on top of them almost. And then you have a bunch of other stuff like Patron's Glamour at 4th level. You gain Illusionary Disguise as an innate spell of your Patron's edition, automatically heightened to rank of which your witch's cantrips are. But you can only use it to disguise yourself as a human representation of your patron. And detection spells of the rank of this Illusionary Disguise give your patrons information rather than your own. You are slowly becoming your patron. Thank you for the hydrate. Like, you are taking their place, basically. I am drinking water. I just love the thematic stuff. You literally just become the patron. You take their place in, like, the cosmic sphere of wherever they are from. Good night forever, Riley. And then you have your own spell shape once per hour as a 1 action ability. If your next action is to cast a spell and you're charged within 30 feet of you, have the spell originate from your charge instead. Good night. And they can then also use their reaction to go and make it so it looks like they cast the spell and not you. Keep your own witchy origins a secret for a single round, because you can only do it once per hour. And you're going to need to cast more spells probably, unless you do this out of combat. In which case, okay. I don't see any other option you'd really use this ever, though. So, yay. Guys, I'm going face static. Oh, dude, why the fuck you look like that, Greg? I should probably talk about the actual spell that it gives you. It's called Manifest to Will. It's a single action cantrip and a 10-foot emanation around yourself or your charge. And it gives you concealment for free and also a small effect, depending on the tradition of your original patron. Arcane gives enemies weakness to spell damage for 1 round. Divine gives everybody inside that emanation 10 HP per round. Occult gives people lesser cover. And then Primal gives people a minus their speeds. So minus 10 foot. And also they have to escape from it. But with multifaceted will, you can choose what tradition to pick instead of just the one based on your original patron. And also give you and your allies a bonus to saving throws against that specific tradition. As you're like slowly pulling the strings and being like, maybe I'm not going to use my own original patron's stuff. I might pick my own type of magic. Fuck this divine list. What if I go primal instead? Stuff like that. Hey. And you have Spiritual Secret. Spiritual Secret is a single action ability once per hour. Another spell shape. If your next action to cast a witch or cantrip or witch spell that deals damage, it deals spirit damage instead of its normal type. So you're just, instead of being like, this fire blast spell, who cares? Casting ghost power now. You lost your cat? Oh no! I hope you're able to find it. And you have Watcher on the wall. This one, I feel like, I don't know why this feat exists. I'm not gonna lie. I do not know why this feat exists. It is a 2-action ability to etch a symbol of your, like, little thingy onto a surface. And then you can see and hear from it from anywhere as long as you're on the same plane. You can only put 1 symbol down, though. So I guess this could be used for, like, spying on stuff. It's a fun situational ability. But it's an 8th level feat. I feel like fun situation abilities should be like 4th level or lower. You put it on like piece of paper or coin. It has to be a surface. So like a wall or a floor or a ceiling that you're adjacent to. Like I like fun situation abilities. Does count? Yeah. I like situational abilities. I just don't like care once it's past a certain level threshold. You know. I feel like most of the situations for this are covered by a clairvoyance spell. Yes. Just although some spell lists might not have clairvoyance, so if you don't have that as your spell list, I guess you could take this. And then of course there's Patient Whispers, which I think is also very situational. You have the message cantrip, and you send a message to a creature regardless of range if they've ever been your charge. And it makes it easier to lie to the person as well. So like, this feels mean. Like it has to be, you can do it to someone who's your charge. However, if you use message normally, I guess not against your charge, because why would you want to lie to your own party members? Take a penalty to try to determine if you're lying to them. I would be suspicious if somebody casted a message cantrip to me in general. So I guess that makes sense, but like, this is a 10th level feat that gives you a cantrip. Like, yes, it can work no matter the range on anyone who's in your charge. Ow! But I don't think a feat is worth message from any range. I think it's an item I could buy, let alone an entire class feat. Like, I feel like the Seneschal is cool thematically, but it suffers the same thing as the Avenger, where a lot of its feats are like, this is weirdly situational and or niche. And when it comes to class features, I only get 10 class feats, you know? I don't want to use one of them on something that's very niche. But that's just me. Some people might be different. Unstable Patronage, though, is a very cool feat. It is pretty much the start of you becoming someone's patron. You can choose a spell your familiar knows, and also choose one of your charges. And then once before your next daily preparations, that they can cast that spell as an innate spell. However, it's an innate spell, which are innate spells are kind of shit. If they're not like self buffs, stuff like that, if they're trying to offensive cast it, it's gonna be mid. It also can't be no higher a rank than the highest rank of spells you yourself can cast -2. So it's fairly low level innate spell they can cast once per day. But it is the start of your actual becoming a patron thingy, so I feel like that for thematic reasons you want to take it. But like, you know, eh. Well, yeah, no, like that's pretty neat, I guess. I have never been in a situation where I can't just shout to my homie. Like, yeah, being able to mess with somebody, it has to be like someone who has been one of your charges before, which will almost always be your party member. And I feel like the amount of times I've had to message a party member would be useful is like 3 times in my 3-year campaigns. That was on average useful once a year. Unless it's very campaign specific / dependent, in which case we're going back to the whole, this is kind of situational. With a feat. And then we just had my other friend just cast Dream Message instead. It just did it at night. We needed to know information from other places. Because they were sleeping. I don't It's one of those things where it's like, I guess. It feels like similar to Watch of the Wall, where this could be replaced with a spell that does a very, very similar thing and not take up an entire class feat that you only have 10 of. And then finally at level 20, we have Patron Reborn. You're the patron now. You are a patron. You gain dark vision, true sight constantly, and you can see into all planes that overlap the one you're in at once. You can just look in and be like, yeah, there's fire in there, ow. And then finally, at level 20, you can be a patron for other witches. However, you have to pick one of the already pre-established witch traditions, and that's you. You're the Starless Shadow now. An allied witch you can observe who has that patron counts and gains the benefits of your witch's charge feats, even if they don't select them as your charge. You know, you're not a unique patron. You're one of the patrons that already exist. And if you're in a party with a witch who already has that same patron, you can count them as your charge because you're the patron now, I guess. That's it. That's all it does. Like, you get the witch ritual, and you can give it to your charges. And once per month, you can go ahead and use, when they use the witch ritual, you could just use your own skill checks instead of them. But at the same time, well, who does this benefit? Are you really going to be, like, in a patron with a second witch? And then take over their patron duties? Like, the true sight's cool. The ability to see the planes is neat. The witch ritual is nice, obviously. It's a 20th level feat. And most of the stuff implies that, like, yeah, you can have witches now. Cool. You can keep your old patron's familiar ability, I think. Yeah, I think so too. It doesn't tell you anything about familiar ability, so I'm pretty sure you just keep that one. So Archetype has a lot of future potential for substituting a patron's cantrip. Yeah. Yeah, the witch ritual is kind of mid, but it feels weirdly underwhelming for a rare archetype where you become someone's like patron. It doesn't feel like you're really being their patron. It can just count as your charge, and you can use spells through them. That's it. And you could already do that with this feat. I guess you have more than one charge, I guess. But only if they're all witches. It is the only rare class. No, I think there's other rare class. Is there another rare classic? I'm pretty sure there is. Maybe. I could have sworn there was one class archetype that was rare. I might be wrong, though. No, there's a lot of them, actually. Chrono Skimmer, Clockwork Reanimator, Crystal Keeper, Curse Maelstrom. All the, like, rare, like, all the undead ones, like Ghost, Ghoul, and all them. Although, no, I guess class, class archetypes in the rare one. The other archetypes, base archetypes, of other rare ones, but there's only like 6 class archetypes in general. Legend, no. Warrior of Legend is normal. That is not uncommon. That is not rare. It is common. Warrior of Legend is weirdly common. Zero. No, it's uncommon, excuse me. I thought it was normal common. It's not rare, it's just uncommon. Being Achilles is uncommon. Being a patron is rare. Some of these feel very NPC coded. That's the thing. I feel like when you become someone's patron, it doesn't really matter much because you're already level 20. You're really gonna have a witch in your party. This feels like a character you'd set up to be a patron in a future game. But at that point, I don't want to play a witch 2-3 year campaigns in a row. You know, I might want to swap it up. There's 27 classes. I don't want to play the same one twice. And I guess if one of your friends wants to play a witch next campaign, they can take you as their patron. But I feel like it's only thematic in nature. It doesn't really do much for them. And it's just so like this archetype confuses me and like who it's for. Like I feel like you can make up an NPC seneschal more than just like for an actual party member. Can't forget about the pasta answer. That's another rare class because Paizo said, "Yeah, we'll around the accidental endless linguini setup, but never did." What are you talking about? As witches who wanted to be their own patrons, which that it sure does do that. I guess. It doesn't really feel it though. Situational ability. Pretty neat ability, I guess, but also kind of situational. This one does feel patrony. Until patronage feels patrony. Patron Reborn is patrony. This one's cool. I don't know if it's patrony. It just lets you do spirit damage instead of normal damage once per hour, which is neat. The Exemplar just does that as a class, but it's also rare. There's a lot of stuff that I'm like, this is neat. That's the thing. I feel like this should have been a mythic archetype instead of just a class archetype. Like, think about it. When you get to the mythic stuff, Wild Spell is the only spellcasting mythic thingy. So you have two spellcasters in your fucking party. They're both gonna pick Wild Spell. They have to. I guess maybe Godling, but that's also rare. The thing is, out of the Grassroots games, though, I feel like this has the exact same thematic stuff as Mythic, though. You become your own patron instead of like becoming deific in nature. You're a patron, which is honestly in the same tier of that type of stuff thematically, you know? Thank you so much, Disabled Gamer, for the follow. It's just very strange. I think if I'm gonna ever make a mythic thingy for fucking Pathfinder tweet, I would make it Seneschal plus, and it's just make it a mythic destiny instead. Like a witch mythic destiny. It's just weird. I like it, but it's weird. I like it. It feels strange. I like the dog though. Look, I'm not sure. This dog looks like a corpse. I love them. They're scrinkly. They're tired. Second to last, we have the Vindicator, one a lot of people are looking for and looking forward to. Have you guys ever looked at the Pathfinder First Edition Inquisitor? Here she is. In blue now because it better fits her deity's colors. I think. It was Pharasma, so instead of red, like the Spanish Inquisition, it's blue. Like the Pharasman Inquisition, I mean Vindication. They only call it Vindicators Inquisitors if they're evil. I like the blue. I kind of like the red on her more just because, like, Carmen Sandiego, I can't make that joke anymore. But this class is strange. This class archetype, I should say, is strange. I like it. It feels weird. I love that Valeros and her kind of are like a will they won't they type of thing. They fuck off and on, but like will they get together? Like Kira and what the fuck? I don't have my tongue. Why can't I remember her name? Rogue Iconic. It's literally in there. I hate this. Every time I'm trying to think of a name, I forget the name when it is needed, and I'll remember it a half hour later. God, what is it? Ah, shit. Mercy L, thank you. Like, those two are cute. And they're officially together. They cast the gay beams together, as friends do, as roommates do. But, like, Valeros and her? You know, maybe. One day, perhaps. Let's get on to the actual class itself. This one has a lot of adjustments. Bloodrager has basically no adjustments. Vindicator has a lot of it. Like the Avenger Rogue, you have to choose a deity to follow, and you get your deity's sanctification, which means if they're holy, you're holy. If they're unholy, you're unholy. If you can choose, you have to pick one of them. In some nature, you're trained in religion, and then you're trained in your deity's favorite weapon. And you also get the humble, what's it called? Not humble, deadly simplicity from the cleric and or champion. If your deity's favorite weapon is simple or unarmed, smaller than a d6. And on top of that, if your deity's favorite weapon is an advanced weapon, you get training in it. So no matter what, you're gonna hurt with your deity's favorite weapon. That barricade buster's looking awfully nice now, doesn't it? And then, of course, you have to choose the Vindication's Edge as your Hunter's Edge below. You also learn your Warden spells as Divine spells. And then you can get the Domain Initiate and Advanced Domain feats, and those will end up counting as Warden spells for the purposes of those types of feats that affect those. That is all the adjustments. There's a lot. Basically, training religion, sub-nature, training your deity's favorite weapon, even if it's advanced. If it's smaller damage dice than a d6, you get Deadly Simplicity. And also, you have Divine spells instead of Primal spells, and all of your Domain spells are Warden spells. Maybe asking, what does Vindication's Edge do? Wow, a lot. You know, Avenger is more stab you in the butt. Vindicator is more, I'm going to kill you with spells. Because Vindication's Edge, you get a plus on most of your spell attack rolls against your hunted prey, and they take a -1 status penalty to their saving throws against your divine spells you cast. You also get a fun Warden spell called Vindicator's Mark. Vindicator's Mark, if I can find, yeah, it's right here. It's a one-action like spell. It lasts for a minute. If you target your hunted prey, you shoot a little magical dart at them. And then if you hit them with it, they make a fortitude save. And depending on the fortitude save, they get weakness to everything you do. But if you swap your hunted prey, it no longer affects them, obviously. But if it's success, they weakness 5 to your next strike you make, or damage divine spell you cast, until before the end of your next turn. Failure, weakness 5 to all things you make, until the duration of the spell is over. And then crit failure is failure, where the target is off guard against the first strike or divine spell you make against it each round, that entire minute. But this is the judgment. I'm looking at the exact wrong one because I'm stupid. Sorry for misinformation. I just got ice cream. I'm nuts about it. But Vindicator's Mark is a 2-action spell. Targeting hunted prey. You shoot a beam at them. It deals a little bit of spirit damage, 2d4 spirit damage. And then, as long as the duration of the spell is up, your marked target takes additional 2 damage from all your weapons or armor attacks. And if they're invisible when you hit, and if they become invisible while they have the Vindicator's Mark on them, they're concealed rather than undetected. And you can also, on top of all that, choose to dispel the spell. If your last action was to deal damage to them, dealing an additional 2d6 spear damage. So you could use the set to do a tiny bit of damage every single round, or just detonate it early to do a big chunk of spear damage. And then it heightens +2 every single level to go and deal even more damage on the little extra damage you do to them, as well as the big burst at the end. And then finally, Vindicator's Judgment is one thing I was really talking about earlier because I'm stupid and I looked at the wrong spell. What action ability? It's your hunted prey. Targets extra damage from all your shit. Its scale is up to 15, weakness 15 to all your strikes and all your damaging divine spells at 9th rank. Which is a lot. Especially if they crit fail. Because then they're weakness 15 to everything and they're off guard to every strike and divine spell attack you make against them that damages them. Back to the actual main class feats. You get Trackless Journey, but instead of Natural Terrain, you can choose to be Urban instead. But you can't change it all ever, and you have to pick it as soon as you get level 5. And Masterful Hunter is their 17th level of, like, Hunter's edge buffy thingy. Simple as, simple does. Instead of a +1 to your attack rolls against them with your spells, it's a +2. And then same for their minuses against your saving throws. It's a -2 instead of a -1. It's very simple, but like, fuck, dude. A minus. This is like the only. I feel like this is the only real full guaranteed way of just getting that extra little spell attack extra thingy on top of your spells. And a +2 at 70th level, of course, but still. Most of them, like most things to get extra spell attack rolls, are not as easy as Hunt Prey, Explode. The dedication itself doesn't give much, as you probably guessed, because you get the whole subclass thingy, but you can use religion to coerce and gather information, make an impression or request, as long as you're in a town or city with a church dedicated to your deity, the exact same way as the Avenger Rogue can. However, if the target of your check is a worship of your deity or is your hunted prey, you get a +2 bonus to this, so it's better than the Avengers one. And you have Interrogate, which is weird. Interrogate, I feel like this one only really works if you're a holy/good aligned Vindicator. Doesn't really work on evil Inquisitors that much, or at least work for them as well. You can ask a question to a non-ally creature and then do an intimidation check against their will DC. Creature is a member of the same religion as you, or is undead or a were creature pretending to be a member of your faith. You get a +2 bonus on this check, which won't really ever happen if you're evil. However, it does all this. It does what you expect from Interrogate. On a critical success, they must directly answer your question. If they don't answer truthfully, you get a +4 bonus to your perception DC if they lie to you. As the success is the same as critical success, but it's a +2 instead of a +4. Failure, they can just say no, fuck you, and then become unfriendly if they weren't already unfriendly. And the crit failure is they become hostile immediately, and you can't interrogate them until a 24-hour period, so you're gonna have to lock them up. What if my faith is crime? Well, you should have picked a better faith. Nor Gorber does not care. This one is the same as this one is the same as the Avengers one, kind of. But it's way better than the Avengers one. It's the same level. But it just only triggers on them casting a spell in general, instead of casting only divine spells. It still disrupts on only a success, and it's on any spell instead of just divine spells. So it's already a better Avengers 8th level reaction to hurt a dude. It's the exact same trigger except for it's just any spell, and it just disrupts any normal success. I'm sorry, Avenger Rogue. The one cool thing you've got, it's no longer situational, and it's on the Vindicator. That's just really confusing to me, not gonna lie. Like, it says disrupt opposed magic, but it's cast on any spell instead of just divine spell, like the Avenger Rogue, which is like a divine assassin, but it only works on other divine people. If you're trying to divinely assassinate Razmir or one of his followers who cast arcane spells but are pretending to be a religion, it doesn't work on them, but the Vindicator's one would. It's just so weird to me. I just don't get it. Like, why make this one directly better? The attack is still a lot, I guess. But, like, it's not gonna trigger on anything. Like, I'd rather it ignore sneak attack bonus damage and then still disrupt on any spell than just specifically divine only. Because, again, that's very campaign dependent versus this one that is fuck you dependent. As long as it can cast a spell, hit them. Tenth level, you get Vindicator's Judgment, which I talked about earlier. It's the weakness spell. And then you have 12th level Call of the Hunt, or just Call the Hunt, excuse me. What action ability? If you're observing a hunted prey, you tell your allies how to best slap this bitch. Until the start of your next turn, whenever your hunted prey is within reach of you and at least one of your allies, it is off guard to all melee attacks. If you're sanctified, the unarmed attacks bonus strikes of you and all of your allies gain that sanctification. So even if you're not flanking, it's like beat up, but even if you're not all flanking, you still become off guard. And also, you get their sanctification. So you're fighting an unholy creature and you just say, fuck you, I'm holy. You just beat the shit out of them together as friends do. That's them! Get that guy! Exactly. It's so funny. It's only for one turn. It's only until the start of your next turn, and so it only lasts like one round. But it's really you could use this to fucking burst down like an unholy boss. I just wish more things were like weak to holy. Like a lich is not weak to holy damage. Why? I don't know. It's a lich. You'd think it's weak to holy. Only weak to vitality. In Torak's name, run him for his phone. You know that I'm better at pathfinding than Phoebe because I have a grilled cheese yummy plus 10. I'm eating ice cream right now, so I get a yummy plus 15. Nice, Shan Wolf. But I feel like that's it, by the way. That's all Vindicator. It's just one page. You get 4 feats and 2 really awesome warden spells. But goddamn, I think this is cooler than the Avenger, in my opinion. This is my 3rd favorite class archetype. First one being Bloodrager, second one being the next one we're going to talk about. The fact that you can get, where is it? Up here. You can get Domain Initiate, and then Advanced Domain and stuff like that, so you can get, like cool fire spells. If, like, you worship Saren Ray, you can blast people with your cool fire stuff that count as a warden spell, which also means that you get a +2 bonus to their attacks against them, and they get a -2 to their saving throws, which is basically just free proficiency increase. I missed the Bloodrager talk. That's what that's for. I love the Bloodrager so much. Yeah, the Vindicator, it's short. It's smaller. But goddamn, it's just cool. It feels like the Avenger Rogue, but better. But then, yeah, it's more supernaturally themed than, like, physically thing. Because the Avenger is more, I'll stab you in the butt. The Vindicator is more, I will hunt you down and then blast you with spells until you explode, die. But again, that's more subjective. That's my personal bias showing. I just think too many of the Avengers feats are more situational than the Vindicator. Interrogate might never come up because like you might not deal with lying enemies a whole lot, but still need to have. Disruptive Post Magic is just so fucking good. Reaction to disrupt any spell that's cast around you on a success. Vindicator's Judgment gives you an awesome focus spell that will fuck up anything. Getting weak to 5/10/15 damage to all things you do to them hurts. Just keep smacking them. It lasts a minute. Vindicator actually is going to seem immensely useful for Triumph of Tusk. Triumph of the Tusk sounds so cool. I don't think I'll ever run it though because I don't really run it like publish adventure paths all that much. But it just sounds, the player's guide showing off all the new gods and stuff is fire. It makes me hopeful to like other ancestries get a lot more new gods. Like I'm really hoping for a goblin pantheon maybe, and I want a goblin god of naps or a goblin god of like singing. There's probably already a goblin god of fire. If not, they're probably going to add one in. But like, I want a goblin god of naps. I am lazy and like napping. I think it would fit very well. Because like, there's the goblin hero gods, but there's not many goblin gods themselves that are actual goblins. I hope with the gods already happening, maybe some goblins will ascend a little. As a treat. No goblin nap gods. Why? I want a nap. They do need a new painted color. They need more than just weird dogs. Especially because the weird dogs kind of got remastered out of existence. Because Bargus got changed fundamentally. It's kind of awkward now. I like if there are multiple goblin gods of fire. Whichever one is being worshipped the hardest at any given time is the one that burning the brightest. That's kind of actually cool. I like that. I still like how a lot of goblins that are nicer goblins worship Sarenrae because she's just the sun. And they're like, let's start with the sun, the big fire. And everyone's like, yeah, the big fire. Like one of the goblin gods is just a grimy goblin who likes shiny trash. I mean, what's wrong with that's goblin coded? That's me coded. I like shiny shit. You know, Vindicator, I give this a rat out of 10. And now up to my second favorite classic armor, the sleeper hit, the one I thought I would like the least and think was the least interesting. But it's actually fucking sick. I do think, however, I talked about this a bit with No-Nat, but I think thematically, this class feels a little off, but mechanically it feels fucking fire. Like, thematically, it's like, oh, woe is me, I am accursed, and I must avoid it at all costs, lest it take my life. And then mechanically, it's like, woo, I'm cursed! Oh, it looks like a fucking cool guy in front of the girls. Imagine a sleepwalking goblin fumbling through the gauntlet and wake up as a god. That's like the, dude, that's like the Caden Kalen of goblins. It was just nap walking. Just slips past all the creatures in the weird Starstone thinking they're trying to kidnap dudes and just like walk in there and be like, oh, cool, rock. The big shiny. But this is a fighter archetype. People have been begging, hey, Paizo, please give me a subclass for my fighter. Make it more weapon specific or something like that. And they're like, all right, fuck you. You want Achilles, you get Achilles. And they're like, I didn't ask for Achilles. And it's like, too bad. Warrior of Legend, the adjustments are a long list as well. You are no longer trained in heavy armor, only medium and light armor. You no longer get shield block. However, you are now trained in both acrobatics and athletics. Neat, I guess. But the main part of it, you choose a single Physical damage type, which is bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing, you pick one of those and get weakness to it equal to half your level. You also gain the Die Hard feat for free. However, you become doomed to whenever you take damage of your weakness. So if you choose slashing, anytime you choose take slashing damage, you become doomed to immediately. Unless your doom value is already higher. You can't get any higher through doom this way. You start off at doom 2. Whenever you take your damage of your weakness, you don't increase it by 2, it just goes up to 2. So 2 out of 5. But there's a reason for it, Sword Tabby. Wait for it. You get really cool. Trust me, you want that doomed on you. And also, at the very end, your Fighter Weapon Mastery and Fighter Legend class features grant you increased proficiency in both spears and polearms, but that's it. Only spears and polearms. You like Achilles, right? Not really. Too bad. Fuck you, Achilles. We're going all in on the Achilles flavor. Only Achilles. Even though his spear was... Nobody talked about his spear. They talked about his shield and the fact that he died later. But that is all he changes. Yeah, the warrior was doomed from the start. That's the whole part of it. It's like, oh, dude, what was me? My tragic... Oh, I'm gonna die one day and it's gonna suck and I don't like that. No. Look at this shit. You're gonna want to be doomed. You're gonna learn to love that doomed. You're gonna... delicious doom. Like, oh boy, I love Doomed. The basic dedication itself is... Where is it? I think it's... where is it? Yeah. As long as you're not wearing heavy armor, somehow, or wielding a shield, all spears and polearms you wield gain the parry trait. If weapon you're wielding has parry, it goes up to a +2 instead of a +1. In addition, you deal an additional amount of damage equal to your doomed value with weapons of the spear and polearm group. No, literally, call a priest, but not for me. You turn all your doomed value into extra damage on every one of your attacks. And you just get the parry trait for free. And if you already have parry, it goes up even higher. Doom! This is a really fun dedication. Heroic Defiance. Reaction. Once per 10 minutes, if you gain the Doom condition, like somebody hits you with hits your weakness, you say, fuck you, and get 10 HP equal to your level and a +1 to all saving throws, both which last a minute. So as a reaction, once per 10 minutes, if you just hit with like your weakness, instant +1 to all saving throws immediately for a minute. Ow! The damage. Piercing Doom. 2 action ability. If you're Doom 2 or greater, make a melee strike. Like success, the target takes an additional 1d10 void damage, and your own doomed value reduces by 1. So this is how you get rid of your doomed. Imagine being weak to your own weapon. I know, right? Yeah, we're listening to Diggity Hole. Yeah, no, this whole thing is you going back and forth, using your own doomed to make yourself cooler. Not enough ways to spend Doom in the archetype, and Piercing Doom can't go below 1, which means you cannot reproc Heroic Defiance for the rest of the day. What do you mean by that? If you win another fight and someone hits you with their weakness again, you're immediately brought to back to Doom 2. Yeah, no, you want to stab a man. You don't want to be the main tank, but it gets cooler. Because Spear of Doom. Spear of Doom is my favorite ability in any game ever in Pathfinder 2e, at least stance-wise. It's a one-action stance. Requirements. Enemy hit you with an attack, doing the same damage type as your cursed weakness within the last round, and you're at least doomed 1 or greater. You enter a stance. The conditions of your doom have been met, and you brace yourself for a battle that will see you either live to fight another day or die a legend. You enter the Spear of Doom stance. While in this stance, as long as the enemy who triggered your cursed weakness is within your reach, you can strike them as a reaction where they succeed or could succeed an attack roll against you. You gain additional reaction immediately at the start of each of your turns that can only be used to make reactive strikes against that opponent or to make the strike granted by the stance. However, while in in the Spear of Doom stance, your cursed weakness is equal to your level instead of half your level. So you just take more damage, you beat the shit out of them. Every time they hurt you, stab them. You get 2 reactions to hit them. They try to run, stab them. They don't try to run, they try to stab you, stab them. This is an incredibly offensive glass cannon focused stance. Like, it is like so fun. It's literally just like a slobber knocker of you just going back and forth and back and forth. Hey, Runia, back and forth. For Spear of Doom, you got to re-enter the stance every time you want to use it against a different enemy instead of just passively working versus any enemy that triggers your weakness, which is odd. I think that's a balance reason, because imagine just being able to punch anybody who punches you ever, just hitting everybody at that extra, like, that fighter crit smackaroonie for anyone who tries to hit you ever in a type of group. I can see why they'd balance it to being only an enemy that hit you with your thingy. Going against that one dude instead of just every dude. But I love this stance so much. It's just glass cannon, and I love glass cannons. And you're still a fighter. So you still have, like, good armor, 10 HP per level. Become a dwarf and or a goblin and grab toughness, become the chunkiest HP pool ever. Just start swinging back and forth. It is very mano-a-mano, like, you and I fight to the death. One person, like, 2 enter the ring and 1 leaves. The closer I am to my death, the closer my opponent is to follow. Exactly, that's the theming I love. Like, I originally thought this class was gonna be mid. Like, this is going, oh, cool. Achilles is neat, I guess. I guess I'll die harder and die less, I guess. But no. Hit me! Kill me! Fuck me up, dude. Then you have No Lie Doom. A reaction. Once per day. If you're a doomed 1 or greater and your dying value would increase, fuck you. You can attempt a recovery check using your dying value. Check using your dying value before it increases, rolling twice, and then taking the better result. And then regardless of the outcome, reduce your doomed by 1. So you say, no, fuck that, I don't care. You want me to die? No. In fact, I'm gonna not only not die, I'm also gonna be less doomed now. You do it once per day, but at the same time. That's just, imagine that in front of a boss. The boss is like, bruh, that's not how it's supposed to go. Like, I didn't hear no bell. Just watched my friend TP their party by giving an ancient black dragon fucking Toon Force. What do you mean by that? And then at 14th level, you can take Only My Doom May Claim Me, which gives you resistance equal to half your level against all weapon and armor attacks that deal damage that's not the chosen one of your cursed weakness. So you just become resistant to them. As long as you're not doing slashing, I'm resistant. If you're doing slashing, I will kill you with my stance. And then, of course, at 18th level, Razor's Edge. Excuse me, I also said Razor of Doom. Razor's Edge. Get your Spear of Doom stance is a free action. You're just like, fuck you, okay, we're doing this, we're going back and forth, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. And also they added 2 feats that would very much fit this archetype, but also would fit any fighter with a spear. I'm sad that these are only fighters, because the Avenger Rogue has 2 of them that are great on fighter and ranger and also rogue, and they get all 3 of them get them, but only the fighter gets Spear Dancer and Needle in God's Eyes. Oh, there's like half from all damage types and could do an attack reaction after everything. That's not Toon Force. That's mean DM Force. You know, I love Needle in God's Eyes. We'll get to it in a second. The first up, Spear Dancer. It's 1 action. If you're building a weapon from the Spear Polearm group, you can step and then strike with a weapon you're wielding, or strike and then step for free. Like 1 action, step, strike, or strike, step. A lot of maneuverability, damage, action compression. Great. Everyone loves action compression in Pathfinder 2e. But we're really here for Needle in God's Eyes. Okay, 60th level feat, 2 action ability. You are a Dragoon from the Final Fantasy series. Leap up to your total speed, either horizontally or vertically, and strike twice at any point during your leap. Each attack counts towards your multiple attack penalty, but you don't increase them until you've made both attacks. You know, Spear Dancer has no flourish. It should probably have flourish. It doesn't. Step, strike, strike, step. Step, strike, strike, step. Step, strike, strike, step. It's just non-stop stab and schmoove. And every once in a while you're like, boing, and do your fucking Dragoon jumpy uppy downy. Well, this makes sense if you consider that the archetype might be a floor tank. Yeah, it's really cool. It's exceptionally, like, Spear Dancer is exceptionally mean paired with Spear of Doom. Because remember, as long as the enemy is inside of your reach, you can strike them whenever they succeed or succeed an attack against you. And you get your reaction. So you can stab them, step a little, they move towards you to hit you, you hit them with a reactive strike, they still come up to you and they hit you, you hit them again with another attack. And you strike half for the raid. Like, it's just kind of nuts. Like, just, like, there is so much, like, moving around, outmaneuvering your enemy to force them to just take free attacks from you. It's, I love it. It is like a dodge tank. Kind of. You just force them to, like, come to you and to beat you up, which lets you beat them up even harder. They either attack you and potentially kill you because you have weakness to equal to your level against all those attacks that would hurt you. But you get to fight back as a fighter. And we all know fighters have that increased critical attack, like, potential, on top of just being able to hit you without map multiple times, because it's a reaction thingy, so it's never gonna have map on it, so you just keep wailing on each other back and forth until you eventually crit them to death. Or they just kill you with weakness. I live for that trade. I live for shit like that. This class archetype is the tits. I love it. Like, Spear Dancer and Needle in God's Eyes are great alone for any fighter who has, like, a pole arm or a spear type of thing they'd use, but at the same time. Also, by the way, unlike Spear Dancer, Needle in God's Eye doesn't specify it has to be a spear or pole arm. So you can Needle in God's Eye with, like, a greatsword or any other weapon. Like, just fucking great pick Needle in God's Eye, attack twice while leaping 30 feet, and then critting twice and doing all that fatal damage. Woo! It's so peak. It's so peak. It's literally competing with Bloodrager for my favorite of all time. There's so much awesome shit in this. I mean, Peppa the Goblin, thank you. If I call my penis a spear, can I use that feed on it? No, that's not an attack. We're doing Achilles as a fantasy. He had a shield in combat, I think, so it makes it weird he can't use shields. You can use a shield. No, you can't, actually. I take it back. Achilles' this whole thing with shields. It is kind of actually weird. Like, nobody knows what Achilles' spear was. Everyone knows it's a shield. But you can't use it. Fuck you. You got parry, though. You can parry. Got that platypus. Yeah, no. That's all the class archetypes in this book. All in all, I feel that, what is it called? Warrior of Legend and Bloodrager are the best. At least in my, like, personal fantasy. Like, I'm a big fan of whapping shit. I like gishes, as you can probably tell from me being a magus. And while Barbarian is more attack than spellcast, that's not like a pure gish like the Animist could be, or like the Battle Oracle / War Priest / Battle Harbinger / Magus. It still does a really good job of just... I love blood magic. I love anything that involves me making enemies bleed. I like drinking blood as a concept. I don't do it in real life because that's gross. I don't want any evil in me. But like, dude, I want to drink a man. I'm going to drink that man. They call him the drink, and I'm going to do it. Yes, I read books. Only for you guys. It's a big book, though. Avenger feels weird. It starts off really strong and gets very confusing to me very fast. Zealous inevitability is cool in theory. One action. It's a flourish. Strike a target with the required weapon, which is your deity's favorite weapon. They become doomed 1. Or increase their doomed value by 1. Creatures doomed in this way take a penalty to their saving throws against divine spells equal to the doom value. You can't cast those. Like, the more doomed they are, like the more they get fucked by divine spells. You don't have those. Nowhere in this class gives you divine spells. If a creature ends up becoming doomed 4 by this thingy, they can make a normal, non-basic, normal saving throw against this with incapacitation, so you can't insta-kill bosses with it. So it just kind of exists to, I guess, buff everybody who's not you. You are actively choosing not to twin takedown with sneak attack to make a cleric be better, I guess? If you're in the same party as a divine caster, that is. If you're not, you have that. Sounds the Profane. It's a worse version of the Vindicators one. Yeah, no. Base Zealous ability is slow as shit. It's a once per round because it's a flourish ability. And it's like a minus equal to your doom value, to their doom value, excuse me. To divine spells that you yourself cannot cast. You have to rely on your friends to do that. And there's just so much shit with it I have like problems with. Not the Profane is just the Vindicator's thingy, but a little bit worse. Because the Vindicator, if an enemy casts any spell within your reach, you attack them, and if you hit them with even just a normal success, you just drop the spell. The Avenger Rogues one is if they cast a divine spell, has to be divine spell tradition, divine spell, then you can do the same thing, and they're also flat-footed for 1 round. That immediately makes it weirdly turbo niche. If you're fighting in a lich, doesn't matter. He's not casting divine spells. That's arcane. That dragon right there, that's a primal dragon. You can't do that. That's primal. Only if you're fighting that demon or that enemy cleric. Then it's divine. Versus the Vindicator, who can just be like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you to everything. Sure, it doesn't make them off guard, but it still disrupts on a success, and it's so much more versatile. It's just so, it feels so weird to have both those in the exact same book. I feel Vindicators is just so much better in every way. Ah, but Phoebe, they won't get the sneak attack damage and the off guard. Who cares? Oh no. Who cares about the fucking extra sneak attack damage and also the off guard if it's not gonna happen against most enemies? Divine specific enemies. So unless you're fighting evil clerics, demons / devils, and stuff like that, it won't come up. Nah, it's campaign specific versus the Vindicators. I will kill you specific. And the Shadow of Death feels strange for a 10th level feat. Whenever you hit somebody with your favorite weapon against a doomed enemy, it would have a death trait, which makes it instantly killed when it reduces to 0, so no regen, it bypasses regen, which is always nice. And then any attempt to talk to it, or return it to life, or turn it to undead, they have to beat your counteract check rank equal to half your level when you killed them. I feel like this is more suited for an NPC, because I've never really had NPCs try to figure out who killed us, who killed that guy. But I can see it being for thematic campaign stuff, so I can see that being a thing. But other than that, it does feel like a fluff feat. A 10th level fluff feat. Which hurts me to say, because it's 10th level. To bypass regenerate sometimes, if it has to regenerate. Then you have Slay, which could be cool, maybe. Your target is doomed to or greater, which means you've had to have someone else make them doomed via spells, or you use Zealous inevitability 2 separate turns before this. You spend 2 actions to make a single strike against the target. If you hit, they take an additional 4d6 extra precision damage on top of your own precision damage with a basic saving throw. If they crit fail the saving throw, they die. It has incapacitation though, so it doesn't matter if it's on a boss. Then the target is temporarily immune for a whole day. You can do this once per enemy per day and hope they crit fail, as long as they're not a boss enemy or an enemy above your level, in which case, fuck you. I'm gonna spend 2 actions to stab a guy and then watch them critically succeed their saving throw, and I just do no extra precision damage whatsoever. Okay. Dude, imagine. Couldn't be me. And yes, I do think it is worse than the weird focus spell that the Vindicator gets. Or is it? That's a one action thingy that makes them week 15, week 5 up to week 15 to all strikes you make against it, or divine spells you cast against it for a minute. And especially if they crit fail the save, then they're flat-footed, off guard against the first strike or divine spell you make against it for each round. And then just take the weakness for everything else. It just feels weird. The Avenger Rogue just feels like a worse version of the Vindicator, except for the fact that you can sneak attack with any weapon as long as you're Yi's favorite weapon. So, like, if your DD has, like, I don't know, like a greatsword, you can sneak attack with a greatsword, which is cool. I think that's neat. Everything else past that, though, I feel like I'm just gonna take the Avengers, like, additional feats, like twin takedown and twin parry and shit like that. Even the additional feats that you get with the half striker stance and the half beatdown feel like they're better placed on the fighter or ranger than the rogue itself, which is kind of sad when it's made for the like for the rogue for the specific like Avenger like class archetype in general. Like the book even says they're primarily intended for Avengers, but I'm pretty sure fighter and ranger, who both have access to these now, work better on them than the actual rogue. Because you could treat the haft of your wielded like two-handed weapon to make it deal 1d4 bludgeoning damage. Yippee! It also gives the agile and finesse traits. Yippee! The ranger can lower that with flurry. The fighter has a +2 to the attack rolls with that. The rogue just kind of sneak attacks with that, but has no extra benefit of that. Like, it has 1d4, and it's agile. It's just weird. Unless you use your dual wielding abilities with that. But like fighters or like fighter dual slice / ranger twin takedown with this, and the flurry range takedown with this is way better than just rogue being able to sneak attack with this, because they'll have a better chance of hitting both those attacks with it. And then half beatdown fucking confuses me so much. Once per minute as a 3-action ability, you can attack twice, once with the main weapon and once with its haft. Each attack counts towards your map, but does not increase your penalty until you have made both attacks. Okay? And then after that, you then strike twice again, once with your weapon and once with the haft. But at full map this time. So for a rogue, it's you hit them with twice. Each counts towards your map, but don't increase the map. And then next two attacks are made at a -10. Why? Now imagine that with a flurry ranger. Those two attacks working with no map, and then those next two attacks working at -6 and then -4, I believe. It's also only once per minute and uses your entire turn. Why does the ranger just fit this so much better than the rogue? And this is made specifically for the Avenger Rogue. I am just so confused at the design for it. Like, I love these thematically. Mechanically, what a hellbolosaur. This does not inspire joy. I just don't get it. Because the other things are cool. Like Bloodrager slaps. Bloodrager is awesome. Yeah, oh, you got your spells by Barbarian. You got your Barbarian my spells. And then they just hurt a lot. A lot of people I've seen have been seeing that the rage damage is like 2 to 4, then 4 to 8. That's not a lot. I think completely missed the whole part of right here, where all of your physical attacks deal precision damage, bleed damage equal to half your additional damage from rage. So it still does 12 base max, technically, so long as the enemy can bleed. So it still doesn't average the exact same rage damage as a Animal Instinct Barbarian. And then the rage resistance is just stupid. Slashing damage are the most common physical damage type, I believe. Persistent bleed damage, which is always scary, but it doesn't come up a whole lot. But it'll really help if you're down on the ground. And then damage dealt by creatures' blood you last drank using Harvest Blood. If you're fighting a single boss enemy and you suck out their blood, you're resistant to all of their damage for the rest of that fight. Who thought that was a good idea? Because I love them. That's nuts. I love them for that. And that's just the basic stuff of it. That's not even going into the feats, the spell casting, the sipping, anything like that. That's just the base benefits you get from the subclass itself. I love it. This is a flat 5, right? It depends on like I think it's what is it? It's not flat 5. I know it's more. I'm trying to remember. Is it half your level? Or is it? I don't remember. It's been a while since I played a barbarian. I was a cleric my last 3-year campaign. I'm doing my best. Three plus con mod. And it's all damage. So it applies on each individual damage type. So like say their what's it called? Their attack does like 2d6 bludgeoning, 2d6 fire, and they deal like 8 fire and 6 like bludgeoning. You resist both those types. So which means you could potentially take 0 damage if you have at least 5 constitution. To just be like, fuck you, I'm standing here. Thank you, Mooney-tastic, for the follow. Bloodrager is just amazing. You also can just sip a man. Like, cut a man, take his blood. Cut a man, take his blood. It's just fuck. I love it so much. They also adjusted some of the little feedy things inside because Paizo handed out an extra packet PDF for free to everybody, going over additional mythic rules to make them more like the mythic stuffs from the older days in terms of how you get them, as well as some errata to fix some stuff, like the Avenger Rogue can sneak attack using their DD sphere weapon only on their hunted prey target. I don't know if I specified exactly what the changes were. But Surging Blood Magic should say, if you have Surging Blood Magic, you add the spell at 4th rank. If you have Exalted Blood Magic, you add the spell at 7th rank, so it gives you even more. And then at, what is it? The second sentence of Exalted Blood Magic gives you Master Spellcasting benefits. They forgot to put that on this one. They forgot to give you the Master Spellcasting benefits. I just love this so much. I love this fucking thing. Just imagine like you're fighting a fucking like weird horrific aberration beast like a Gagateth, and you just cut it and slurp it. The Gagateth's like what the fuck? And then you cast Vampiric Feast off of them because you sucked out their weird glorpy blood, splitting your head open and just slurping them. Yeah, Dark Metamorphosis. Like, there's a lot of shit. I love this. This is my favorite. This is my favorite of all time. This is my favorite class archetype ever. 1, it's mechanically fucking amazing. 2, thematically, it's fucking amazing. 3, it's just really strong in general. 4, I get to blood. I love blood. Blood fun. Look at this man. That man's covered in slurp. He's been slurping all day. Seneschal fucking is weird, dude. Seneschal, you sure fit the thematic stuffs of being your own patron, I guess. But there's not a lot to show for it. Seneschal's spell is neat, but I feel like it has more out-of-combat utility than it does have in-combat spellcasting stuffs. Multifaceted Will is great in general. That one's just a straight-up buff to your own little hex cantrip you have. That's just great. You should always take that no matter what. Spiritual Secret. It's cool. It just turns once per hour, turn whatever damage your spell does into spirit damage. It gets over weaknesses of things, which is good. I'm not sure if that really fits thematically as like, I'm a patron because I do the Exemplar / other class who does spirit damage thing. Watching the Wall and Patron's Whisper feel like they should be lower level. Watch on the Wall is you just etch a symbol onto an adjacent surface and you could just see and hear from it whenever, as long as you're on the same plane. Which I feel is like has very niche cases. Like, yeah, I'll spy on the person once per fucking campaign. I'm glad I took this as one of my 10 class feats. And Patron Whisper is more useful than that, but I don't think it's 10th level feat. What useful, it gives you message for free. And you can message your fucking companions from anywhere on the same plane as you. As long as it's ever been your charge. Yeah, the symbol lasts forever, but like, how often are you going to use it? I'm going to take my leave here. Have fun looking through the classes, and thank you for your stream. Good night, Arcady. Thank you for stopping by. It's just weird, dude. Like, the symbol lasted forever, but how often are you going to need it to specifically hear from this one thing? And you have to, like, stab the symbol into something, so, like, they can just see that and be like, what the fuck is that? And get rid of it. If they notice it. Like, you could hide it behind something. So you can hear it, but, like, you won't be able to see anything. It's weird. And then these are more these right here feel more patrony, but one's 14th level, one's 20th level, so you won't feel like a patron for long. But you'll feel cool. Like 20th level one it's so, it feels like an NPC ability. You get dark vision, constant true sight, and can see into all transitive planes that overlap the one you're in. That's cool. That's awesome. You can also choose an already pre-existing witch patron to have that be your classification of witch patron, in which case, if you have another witch in your party that has that same patron, they can count you as their patron. Well, I guess. And then you also learn the witch ritual. Sorry, I play music in the background and it keeps me going. It keeps my noggin working. I can turn it down if you don't want it. The Vindicator is just fucking cool. Vindicator is just fuck you, die. The Ranger with spell flavoring this time, so just melee wappage. Take a penalty to their saves against your spells, and you get a bonus to your attacks with the spells. Which I feel like is one of the very few rare things that just give you a spell attack bonus. And then just a better version of the Avenger Rogue's reaction. 2 really awesome Warden spells. The ability to take domain spells and have them count as Warden spells, so you can just blast people with other things like that. And then Call of the Hunt is just a really cool, mechanically strong feat that helps you just burst down like evil/good creatures, depending on what your sanctification is. Oh no, it's strong. Doesn't have a whole lot of feats. It has like 4 feats to it. And sometimes it's all you need with the whole like 2 different like warden spells they give you. Based on playing the book, they're trying to get marshals to do spell attacks, and spell attacks don't feel greatest even on spellcasters. Saves are more reasonable. Yeah, I like that it does both. It gives the option. And Warrior of Legend is just a constant back and forth. Fuck you. No, fuck you. Very move aroundable, like maneuver it. No, I can't talk. Very maneuverable, very fuck you. I'm gonna make you hurt me and then hurt you harder for doing that. I'm gonna punish you for hurting me, but also making myself take even extra more damage. So I'm the ultimate glass cannon. And it's just perfect in every way. I love it the most. Just say fuck you, no, and just stop caring and just you ever just want to go ape shit? You know, ever want to stop being a good person? Just start swinging wildly. I have. And that's exactly what Spear of Doom is for. Ah! And just starts swinging. And the needle in God's eyes is just a dragoon. It's just the dragoon from Final Fantasy. With no map. I love it. I'm gonna be right back real quick. Someone's calling my name. Please be patient. I won't be gone long, hopefully. was muted. No, I was saying thank you for following me on ET and the Honey with Hydrate. I forgot I actually muted myself. I was asking if you guys had any, what you would consider a hot take about any of these class archetypes. My hot take is that I think the Avenger. Thank you, Razif64, for the follow. I think my hot take is that the Avenger Rogue, while I see a lot of people talk about how much they love it, I think it's mid. I think it's okay at best. Like, it starts off very front loaded, really cool, and then just kind of like trickles down to being decent, I think. And I think a lot of it comes from, like, I love the Slayer in Pathfinder First Edition. It was a hybrid class between Rogue and Ranger, and just made it was just a better Rogue and a better Ranger combined, because back then that was, I think that was that before Unchained Rogue, back when Rogue was shit and then Ranger was too situational, and you mixed the two and made them perfect. I can't say any hot takes since I've never done Pathfinder. Oh, welcome in. It was after. Because it just feels like both of them. You hated Slayer? How dare! Like, this just feels like Slayer with like a weirdly religious tinge. Like, this is like a born-again Christian Slayer. Like, this has the flavor of a Slayer, but masked over top of it is like Christian guilt. Like, it is literally just Slayer. Like, they even call them, sometimes they're known as Slayers, among more brutal doctrines. And it's like, dude, you can't even just... You also use Zadim as the iconic, who was originally the Slayer iconic, now the Avenger iconic. It just feels like a weirdly religious Slayer. And it even has an ability called Slay that needs to proc off of this kind of mid ability that gets in the way of your other abilities. Like, come on. I've been playing TTRPGs for like 15 years, so I've never done Pathfinder yet. Well, maybe hopefully one day you'll be able to. If you join my Discord, I have a Looking for Games channel and also a dedicated Pathfinder channel, as well as other dedicated tabletop game channels if you want to go check those out and talk to more like-minded individuals or want to learn something new. Yeah, it's like Slayer with a sprinkle of like... It's not even Cleric, because this has no spell casting in it. Like Slayer with a sprinkle of like... My mom is a Wiccan. What was that line from the Scooby-Doo Witch's Ghost thingy? I'm a Wiccan. I'm like 1/4 Wiccan on my mom's side or something like that. I like the reaction is within your first range increment, so you can go ranged. You can do that with the... Like, my thing with that is... It does the same thing with the Vindicator's one, but the Vindicator is against any spell versus the Avenger's only divine spells. Yeah, Slayer, but I grew up on the Bible Belt, and I have some weird thoughts about myself that I'm scared to voice to my parents. Slayer was super slow to advance. Your first few levels were worse versions of base classes, so better to dip in both places. That's fair. I just like the concept of just mixing the two together. I feel like this class would work better if it was more things that could Doom that players could use. I know, right? Like, they made it so Doom heavy, but also put so much incapacitation stuff on the stuff that affects the Doom stuff, so it kind of feels a little worthless. Because the Doom racks up once per round. If I'm fighting an enemy for more than 4 rounds, which would make them Doom before and kill them instantly, it's probably a boss. And the boss is probably higher level than me, which means incapacitation would be effect. It would not be able to insta-kill it with the Doom. It just feels weirdly like the thematics are clashing with the mechanics, you know? That's my thing with it. It's like the opposite of like the Warrior of Legend. The Warrior of Legend talks about thematically how it's like, oh, woe is me. I am being hit by my cursed weakness. I'm closer to death. What a struggle it is to live as me. Versus the actual mechanical version of it, it's like, woo! Yeah, hit my weakness, bitch. I'll kill you doubly hard now. I'll fuck you up, look cool in front of the girls. That's what the Warrior of Legend feels to me. Like it feels like in your face, fuck you, a glass cannon, I'ma kill you, I'll get you, bitch. Versus like the thematics where it's like, ugh, implicable doom, a shadow cast by the light of my deeds. It follows me everywhere and will eventually claim me. Versus, fuck you, YOLO, let's fucking go. That I feel like it would come from this whole like playing an actual Warrior of Legend like in game. I feel like it would be like, whoa, yeah. Versus like being a sad, downtrodden like emo slash scene slash goth kid going to the Hot Topic for the first time as soon as I hit 13 and being like, I really resonate with this Invader Zim plushie and this Adventure Time t-shirt. That like the Warrior of Legend like thematic text makes it feel like. But that's another one of my hot takes. I love it mechanically. Thematically, it just feels too downtrodden on its own self. Like, chin up, bucko. You're gonna look fucking sick. You're like, ugh, my weakness. It's literally the, call an ambulance, but not for me. And then you stab them 42 times in the chest and crit them each time. And then I don't really have any hot takes about the Vindicator or the Bloodrager. They're just both fucking awesome as long as this thing. Why is Seneschal? Seneschal. Hot take: Seneschal should have been a mythic, like a little Destiny. It has the same flavor, the same power, like thematic stuff behind it that I think would warrant a mythic Destiny, especially because out of the like 6 or so, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out of the 9 mythic Destinies we have, only one is spellcaster themed, and it's just you're full of magic, explode. Versus like Seneschal could have been a cool witch themed mythic Destiny. Like, imagine how cool it would be to be an actual witch and then have like a Seneschal mythic Destiny as your actual patron. Doesn't die or disappear, but instead like they watch you grow to be the same level and tier as strong as they are, and you guys can make out and be really hot. But that's just me. There's just there's so much I want to talk about with this fucking. I'm gonna go over all the mythic stuff on Friday though, by the way. I don't want to like just leave you with like little information I've given you, but like I plan to go so fucking hard on Friday and Saturday. It's gonna be a double stream because there's a lot. Because it starts out here with all the mythic stuff on page like 72, and it ends on like page, what is it, 142. So it's like 70 pages of mythic shit I gotta cover on Friday and then also Saturday. That's not even including all the mythic gear and mythic monsters. So that's gonna be a lot on Friday and Saturday. Although, yeah, no, I was like, can I cram it on Friday? No, I have a Pathfinder game to play on Friday on stream. I forgot. I do that afterwards. But yeah, I definitely feel like maybe have the Avenger give away, like maybe give the Avenger a class fee that lets other people put doomed on stuff to an extent. Like maybe one extra person could put one extra doom on something so you can at least proc your slay thingy before turn 3. In which case it's probably already almost dead anyway, so you probably kill it normally. That's like my one major complaint. Oh, I just cracked my elbow. Like either make Doomed easier to get Or just make it less focused around Doom. Because all the Doom feats are really neat, I guess, but I'd rather take Twin Takedown, Twin Parry, Twin Riposte, Second Sting, Improved Twin Riposte. I'd rather take all the Ranger feats and just put them onto my fucking Rogue. Thank you so much for the follow, Ren Hiroshi. Also, the added precision damage having a save. Yeah, no, I forgot to. I keep talking about it. I gloss over a little. You do an extra 46 precision damage with a basic save, which means if they succeed the save, they take half that amount. If they crit succeed, they take nothing. If the crit fail to save, they just die though. But it has incapacitation, so no boss is going to instantly die. So either going to take nothing, half, or just 46. Which is not a whole lot. Like, sure, it's only level 12 feet, but you can only use it once per person. It takes your entire turn. Get that modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Efficiency. That's what I'm saying. Give me some combo potential with my friends. They deserve it. My friends deserve to be cool with me. Oh, I just fucking scratched my eye. Yeah, that's my unhinged Avenger rant. Pick Vindicator instead. I was gonna see when my Pathfinder game was gonna be playing this week, but I just remember we canceled that because both me and Podge are double, triple, extra sleepy. We both have to do a lot of shit way too early tomorrow morning, and also our GM is there's a lot of stress going on, so we're just gonna put that off. Our normal Blood on the Rocks game is gonna be pushed off towards next Wednesday instead. Our Friday game's still gonna be down. So, but it's gonna be a bit of a different Friday game, because a couple of our members aren't going to be there because they're too busy dicking down their girlfriends on their birthday. So good for them. We love lesbians. Clap for lesbians. But we're going to be ending up going with a couple of other people doing some more, I believe it's some more Starfinder 2E playtest stuff on Friday after my normal stream time. So around 8 p.m. EST-ish. I think this is where I'm going to end the stream tonight. I think I've said everything I need to say. Avenger Sweep. Did you just get? Have you been here this whole time listening to me complain about the Avenger miraculous water bottle? And literally, me and Podge, the two gobs, are really EP. We're both like, we had to end the session a little early because we're both like, for two different reasons. And they're like, ah, yeah, EP gobbo. But it's okay because, listen, gobbles need our beauty sleep. Me and Podge, yeah, no, miraculous water bottle. I spent about like a half hour at least total talking about how the Avengers mid at best. And really situational. Like, it starts off really cool, and then it's like, ugh. This is too slow. This procs off the slow thing, like turn 3 of being slow, and they have to make a save which they can pass and not take any extra damage and then be immune to it for one whole day. This is a ribbon ability disguised as a 10th level feat. These two feats are better off in the fighter and ranger than the rogue. It makes me sad, but I love the class. I am gonna end stream though tonight. I'm gonna go and raid in my good friend Calliope. She is the person that we're gonna be missing on Friday because she's off going to hang out with her girlfriend for her birthday. The raid message is gonna be get bited stinky doggo. And how are you gonna pick up an archetype? This is a class archetype. This is your archetype. I'll put the raid message in chat. If you want to go and follow me anywhere else, I am Phoebe Bane on Twitch, Twitter, Blue Sky, and also YouTube. I'm gonna go, if you want to go and join my Discord with a lot of what's it called, like-minded people. Talk about all types of tabletop games. We have dedicated channels for each different tabletop that we normally talk about the most, including a looking for game forum. For to look there. I'm gonna type the raid message in chat real quick. Get bited. Thank you. Doggo. That's gonna thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Enjoy the Unleash the Archers music in the background. Bye.